Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and I am reviewing Victoria and Abdul. It is a 2017 movie rated PG-13. Runs an hour and 50 minutes. The extraordinary true story of an unexpected friendship in the later years of Queen Victoria's remarkable rule. When Abdul Karim, a young clerk, travels from India to participate in the Queen's Golden Jubilee, he is surprised to find favor with the Queen herself. As the Queen questions the constrictions of her long-held position, the two forge an unlikely and devoted alliance, with a loyalty to one another that her household and inner circle all attempt to destroy. As the friendship deepens, the Queen begins to see a changing world through new eyes and joyfully reclaims her humanity. This movie stars Judi Dench and Ali Fazal. I just feel like when I watch a British movie, I kind of gain a British accent for about a day. About a day. That's Canadian, about. But I really I cherish the London way of life. The two bands I'm following right now are the Marmozets and the Struts. I'm just head over heels for. I've seen them many times in the last year. I'm starting to like the Blossoms and some other groups from London, and I really crave wanting to go there. And I love watching movies about Britain, London, the history, any monarch. All the stories are very intriguing. I love the culture, I love the history, and I really, really am hoping to visit there one of these days soon. So I love movies about it. I will say that first off. As a movie, Victoria and Abdul really gets to the point quickly. I was surprised that it got Abdul there, it got them meeting, it got them talking within the first, 15 minutes? That's great. That's amazing. Like, we watch superhero movies, we watch true stories all the time, and it takes half an hour to set up the storyline. It's like, come on, sometimes people don't arrive on the screen who's the main character 45 minutes into the movie, and we're like, what? So I really appreciate that when movies just get to the point. Throughout the movie is very, very nice, light, enjoyable humor. Nothing's laugh out loud, nothing is kind of raunchy, nothing is stupid. It's all very appropriate and very lighthearted, and it's very enjoyable. Just makes the movie in parts, in every, segment, there's something just to keep it nice and light and easy and enjoyable. There's a part where, most of the movie, Abdul has a situation where he is brought to the Queen with a counterpart, person from his country, India, and that guy ends up getting pretty darn sick, and really his only line of the movie is that he wants to go home, and he's really tired of being there, and the series of events that brought him there, it shouldn't have been him in that situation. And so he was just kind of like, okay, we did our thing at the beginning. Can I go home now? That's all he really ever says. And I think it's really sad that Abdul couldn't have just told him, that I'll make sure that you can go home. I'm so tight with the Queen. I'll make sure that, she sends you home. There's really no reason for you to be here. You don't want to be here. You're getting sick. I just thought that was kind of stupid that he has to suffer in the way that he did, and somebody couldn't have done something for him. I just, especially Abdul, it's like, you're in tight with the Queen, get your friend home like he wants to be. There are parts where this movie just kind of, I wrote down, spins its wheels. That a lot of the conversation is kind of like Abdul's friend. People only have one or two things to say, and it just keeps coming up over and over and over again, and it's just kind of like rhetorical and kind of unnecessary, and it just kind of drags the movie down when you hear the same thing from the same person 3 times in a movie within 40 minutes or so of each other. It's just kind of like, move on, let's add another scene, let's do something different. So that's one of the minor flaws in the movie. It just, people didn't have much to say because everybody was so against the Queen inviting someone like Abdul into her presence. So it's just all anybody ever had to say. I did enjoy, I don't know if it was just Judi Dench's personality or the fact that any queen would probably do this, but there's 3 times that I counted, maybe more, that the queen said, well, I'm the queen. I'm going to do what I want. Thank you very much. You can leave. And I was just like, yeah, stick it to them. It's fun, So I think that always is nice when people have power in a movie for a character that gives them something really strong to work with, that they can just show their power, tell the person what's what, and move on with the scene. It gives it direction. It gives the other person a chance to act astonished or surprised that they're being talked to a certain way, or I can just see somebody saying, okay, what is your reaction to that? And most of the time people reacted pretty well, humble because they are under the Queen and is coming from the Queen, but also for Judi Dench to be able to display that kind of power and which way she wanted to say it. I just thought it was all handled very well, and I can just imagine some drama class somewhere using that as an exercise. Okay, you're the queen of the country, he's your servant telling you that he doesn't like what you're doing, and scene. I can just see that, and I think this movie handled it very well, and it really added to the movie a lot of nice parts when she was able to tell people what's what. And then just the ending, I always like to at least address it, if it's good or bad, if it makes sense, if it tells us what's going to happen in the future. Obviously, this is a true story, so the ending is obvious and sad and emotional and meaningful. And so what goes on from there, I don't think they needed it exactly, but they wanted to present us with a little bit of down the road, kind of storyline, and let us know that it is a true story and what happened to Abdul down the road. And so I'm impartial. I don't think it was bad or good. It just, I felt like Queen Victoria could have died while Abdul was in the room. I was kind of expecting that, and they kind of handled it wrong by having her die after that, like a minute later when her family's around. I think that was a missed opportunity. But after that was fine. It tells us about the real Abdul. I can't imagine why he died in 8 years after returning home, maybe because of the temperature, weather stuff, but he was married, and I don't know what happened there, but it was kind of sad. And I don't know if they had to really tell us stuff all the time at the end. They can just say this was based on a true story and just end it. But everybody feels like they have to tell us, kind of what happens from there. And I guess it's kind of a usual thing. So otherwise than that, Victoria and Abdul, I heard from my family members that this was a nice movie. And I just was like, oh, man, another historical one, another, one about whatever, and maybe a little bit too light for me. I'm kind of used to the hardcore death and action, and I really had fun with it. I really liked it. I thought it was cool and light and funny, and I liked the parts where Judi Dench really got to be herself and thrive, and got to learn a little bit more about history when obviously we probably mostly forget what we learned from high school, and the fact that she was the longest reigning monarch. So I think it was a really good movie, guys. I'm going to give it a B because it's just a little here and there kind of repeating commentary. I think it really kills the momentum, but acting's good, humor's good, and the end is just fine. So B for Victoria and Abdul. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other reviews, please hit like and subscribe, and enjoy your movies, guys. Thanks.